Hey y'all, welcome back to the ranch. I'm Jared Paul, and today it is all about the trees. I'm going to be cleaning up this Schefflera roots over lava rock and taking a look at a planting of 3 different cuttings, one Schefflera, one pencil cactus, and one jade. They've just grown amazingly, so I think it's time for pruning them up. This guy, I'm just cleaning up the stone. It just looks way too beautiful right now to do any pruning on it, but the branching is really coming in nicely. The growth is filling out. I'm really, really pleased with this bonsai. So, additionally, probably in 2 other videos, I'm going to take you around into the basement, take you around the main floor of the house, and take you outside to take a look at the tree farm, the Japanese tree garden, the raised tree bed, and then some other trees around the ranch property. So, really excited? That's what's coming up on today's episodes of Jarhead Bonsai. All right, so now you can get a closer look at the Schefflera. So what I did was, when I mounted it on this rock, the tree was really growing out to one side. So what I do is I keep this side towards the window so that I get some pretty cool branching coming back the other way across the pot. But you know, just naturally, the branches that already existed, they have some nice muscular growth going on with them as well. So it just filled in really nicely. I'm in love with this canopy right now. I'm not staying humble about this tree. This thing's amazing. Anyways, and really cool down below. You know, you get a roots over rock. You want the roots to be totally dope, and the thing looks like an arm and a hand going down into the lava rock. Really happy with it. So it's not sure if you could see it right now because there's not that much color difference between the rock itself and the roots, but maybe I'll give you a little close-up after I clean this thing up. So I'm going to clean it up with just warm water. I was thinking about using like an all-natural dish soap, and I haven't had any issues with bugs on this one, so I don't need to mess with that for once. So I'm just going to keep it pure, and I don't know about using like a cleaner around the roots. So I'm just do some warm water, work our way around. Speaking of bugs, insects, you know, I posted a few videos of different species and them being terrible. Literally, when I went to get the warm water between the intro to this video and now, I walked by 2 hanging spider plants that have lots of spiderets hanging down. And I'm like, why are they browning up? And I look over and literally just coated with scale going down. And I'm telling you, I watered them probably 4 or 5 days ago. So I can't believe that many appeared in just 4 or 5 days. But be careful if you're just starting out. You're just doing house plants, tropicals, bonsai, whatever you got going on. Make sure you're checking that stuff between waterings, because I mean, I've been doing this. It'll be 3 years, the middle of February, and I'm still surprised how often my trees get attacked, even with, you know, using pesticide granules in the soil, using dish soap and different essential oils as a spray, and I mean just flat out paying attention and looking at my trees all the time. I just can't believe how quickly they move. So words of advice from Jared Paul. So this thing's cleaning up nicely. The lava rock is supposed to be, you know, like a brown maroonish type of really rough rock, and it's probably has something to do with the water, but it just gets like white all over it. So this is only the second time I've cleaned it up. I'm thinking it's 2.5, 3 years of life. Yeah, 2.5. I got this 3 summers ago. When my friend went to Hawaii and brought it all back. So this is an acacia pot. You know, acacia is a really sustainable product, so I love to see when that's used. It's been a really cool pot. It doesn't have any drainage holes, but it's a Schefflera, so you know, I just let it dry out between watering. I fill it right up till I see the water coming up to the lava rocks, and then repeat process. They're not really that high maintenance on the watering side, except when you prune them up or defoliate or repot, you make sure you're not doing a regular watering cycle, because I had a really cool other one that I just got at a regular nursery here, and I had it growing up to like a heart style where it was going to crisscross, and I repotted it and defoliated it, and I must have watered it too much and completely rotted right out of the pot. So that's probably a year ago that thing died. I'm just scrubbing the roots as well. This is just a coarse or rough, hard toothbrush, whatever the classification would be. And I obviously only use it for bonsai. Yeah, that looks good. Get this one last little spot, guys, and then I'll get you a zoom in, and we'll take a look at my cutting planting. I think I might even repot that one today. Prune it and repot it. I'm just jonesing to do some repotting. Laura has put together an epic shopping list on Amazon for me with like, oh man, it's going to be the bonsai soil of all bonsai soils. I can't wait to order it all, and then I'll do a video combining it. I'm really excited because this will be, 2-3 years on a lot of my trees since they've been repotted. So I want to get some just amazing soil, because a lot of them were seedlings and babies, and a lot of times with those younger trees, the younger roots, it's better just to keep them in like a topsoil, peat moss type of thing, because they got those little fine roots. But now that they're established as trees, I've kept them alive for a few years, I really want to give them that upgrade. Plus, I think it just looks a lot better. This one obviously has a little too much lava rock in it, but oh well. All right, cool. Let's get a close up. Okay. Focus. There we go. You see that hand-like root? I think that is freaking awesome. I'm not going to do it on camera, but I'm going to spend some time this afternoon, I think, scrubbing this rock better, because it can really be popping out of that soil. So you get the, the black lava rock surrounding the nice maroon one. But y'all get the idea. Boom, boom. Some nice branching going on. Some new growth, some old growth. Thickening up nicely, getting a nice woody trunk. So I am pleased. All right, let's move on to this bad boy. All right, got it all set up here. I showed this in one previous video. This is something Laura got me for Christmas. It snaps at all four corners, so it acts like a little, soil basin, because I make a huge mess with this stuff. So I'm excited. This will be the second time I get to use it. And also, and I agree with her, it has one shiny side, which I'm using, and then one flat side. The flat side would be great as like a hang it on the wall and do your video in front of it, like pruning videos in the spring, because you'll really be able to get a good look at the trees. So like I would sit to the side and let the backdrop just be straight black. So dual purpose. All right, so I picked out a pot. I have just a ton of terracotta pots of different sizes, different ages. And I thought this one with a little bit of patina on it and its nice squatty shape, I just thought that would look really nice with the bright and dark greens of these three plants. So as you see, I got a little jade over here from a cutting. I've got the Schefflera, and then I've got my pencil cactus. And these are all pretty much just a single trunk, single branch. So definitely the first pruning of these cuttings. And honestly, I haven't been doing this that long, really, where a cutting would even be able to look or rate pruning, you know, look like a tree. So this is cool. And speak of the devils, I have freaking scale on the Schefflera. So why don't I'll prune them up and then I'll spray them down. I've got a solution currently of all natural peppermint dish soap, so it has peppermint oil in it, and I added cinnamon oil. My buddy at Todd's Tropicals recommended that, and I used it on my Delonics a couple of days ago, 2 different Delonics, and the leaves didn't fall off and shrivel up, but the flies and all the little sticky stuff that was all over the leaves, which showed me, you know, that I had some sort of pest problem, they're all gone. So it obviously worked. All right, so and take off some of the lower leaves so when I pop it in this little glass of water, and I'll leave it in the glass of water until I see roots on everything, and then I will I'll pot them up. Actually, this glass of water is just for the pencil cactus. They do really well rooting in water. I assume that these two, the jade and the Schefflera, would rot. So I'll just, I'll drop the jade cutting on a bin of jade cuttings that I have over there and let it kind of dry out, and then I'll pot that up in some soil. And same with the Schefflera. All right. I'm going to take this down. Let's take it down to here. I think this will make a nice cutting from a cutting. Snowed a little bit this morning, so there's a nice covering of fresh white snow outside. So when we tour outside, it's going to look really nice on that tree farm. I love the way the mini Christmas trees, there's 500 Picea glauca, or white spruce. I think they look so great with snow on them. I can't believe how much freaking scale is on here. God, this stuff pisses me off. So I'll make sure to dispose of all this stuff. I'll clean up that cutting with that solution I talked about. I don't think that you need to witness it. Oh yeah, these lower leaves are covered. All right, so I've got the Schefflera within shape. I think with this pencil cactus, if you've seen see this big mama back here, I've got a ton of these things, tons of cuttings. They root really well in water, like I said. And they root really well if you just drop them in some soil too. Just be careful not to get the sap that comes out after you prune it in your eyes. Boom. I have tons of these glass votives all over the house with little things rooting. Pathos plants do really well. Spider plants with the little spiderettes. Jade plants. Actually, I have the jades in soil and the Christmas cactus in soil. But the other ones do really well in water. I left just a little room for dieback, and then we'll prune that off next time. Let's see. Jade. I think the jade's at a good height, but I would like to see it branch. So why don't I? You know what? I'll do it up here. See, these are free of the insects, so I don't have to worry about cleaning that. All right, Let's get this thing out of this pot and into the other. Can't imagine it'll be too tight in this. So I don't have any bonsai soil right now, but that's fine because these do well with my seed starter mix. It's peat moss and coffee grinds and moisture control topsoil. This little mess actually of roots. It's just a plastic nursery starter pot. I don't necessarily need to separate these roots. We'll have to do a little work. I have a root rake, but these are really fine and, you know, pretty much cactus, succulents, all about the same. So I'm not going to break it out for this. I'll just use my fingers. Oh man, watching the bonsai bloke down there in Australia. I'm so jealous of the fact that he has summer kicking off right now. It's like I just want I just want to have all my trees at a dormancy, which is giving me a heart attack. My broski Ian at a back garden bonsai gives me pep talks like they're just sleeping, they're gonna come out of dormancy. It's nerve-wracking, you know. It's like, oh my god, are all my trees dead? Speaking of the ones in the basement, the ones outside, they're all pretty much evergreen, so they look good. The ones downstairs, all the leaves are brown or falling off. So we do have some really long roots down here. I'm just going to nip them off. Yeah, none of them are really swirling around, so we're just going to pop it in the pot like so. Ah, this one's a little high. Yeah, cool. So my drainage screen, I use these biodegradable seed bags. They work just as well, and you're thinking, oh, don't they biodegrade and then they're not effective? But by the time I repot this thing, they'll still be there. I planted a lot of my trees from seed, like just utilizing the pot. Or it's just utilizing the bag and popping them right in the pot in the bag. And the roots grow through it, but they haven't, you know, broken down. I can still see the bag when the soil level drops off. Recycle this soil because I had just put some nice tree fertilizer on top. So I like to do the time release pellets with fertilizer. Mix it right into the soil. So that when I do my bonsai soil compilation, it's going to be intense. It's going to have so many ingredients. Oh, pesticide granules mixed right in, the time release fertilizer mixed right in. It's going to be like the universal bonsai soil from heaven. You can tell I'm excited about it. But I tell you what, there's always something popping up that takes priority over buying bonsai soil. Especially when you have a 14-year-old daughter living in New York City, training to be a professional ballerina. You know, they have to like eat every day and constantly get point shoes and different supplies. Metro card, you know, just you name it. If you have kids, you know what I'm talking about. They all are expensive in their own way, I'm sure. And then, of course, we got one on the way, so we'd be getting baby stuff too. When I show you all the seed room when we do the tour, I'll show you the baby's quilt and tapestry. It's all forest and plant themed. Totally psyched. All right, I can put together quickly. I want to take this out too. I'm going to. I love these pencil cactuses, cacti, to cascade out of the pot. I think is really attractive when they're weeping. I have one or two that I'm thinking about keeping some vertical growth in and just seeing where it takes me, but otherwise that's pretty much the way I style these. Yeah, cool. I like that. So let me... All right, so first let's take a look at these bugs. Oh, they're there. But they're going to be difficult here. Let's see. Let me get a good one with lots of bugs on it. Probably the one in the pot. These in the pot are the worst. Yeah. Look at that. That's terrible. So I'm just going to take I'll spray a little paper towel and I'll wipe all those off. Spray the paper towel with that solution we talked about and I'll wipe all those off. And then boom. We got a cutting, planting of 3. Got a nice little upgrade today. All right, y'all. So that's going to do it for this episode of Jarhead Bonsai. Coming up will be updates on the ranch, indoors, and out in the tree field. Take care, y'all.